Bringing up Bates. We have interviewed the parents in the Bates family, Gil and Kelly Jo, I would say at least 3 times. We'll get to that as part of this later.
Yes, we have.
And especially Kelly Jo. Gil's a nice man too, but Kelly Jo is like the nicest woman in the world.
Absolutely.
You know, she makes Mother Teresa.
And you know, one of these days, you know, we're going to have to go see him because I have got to try her sweet tea. As much as I love sweet tea, I bet she makes some killer sweet tea.
I bet she does.
Oh, man.
So, through UPtv, we have, usually when we interviewed them, it was at the start of a new season. And they would share what was going to take place, and, you know, we'd talk about their church and different things like that. And I just kind of want to read what UPtv said. They announced Tuesday that they would not be moving forward with the show Bringing Up Bates, which was expected to premiere its 11th season in February. So it was, I'll go ahead and say this now, it had actually already been filmed and ready to premiere in February. And this is a quote, a statement from UPtv. We will not be premiering Bringing Up Bates Season 11 on UPtv as planned, as we will be focusing our programming in 2022 on movies and a new scripted series to be announced soon. When we premiered Bringing Up Bates, the series was focused on parents with 19 kids who were teenagers and young children. The cameras were there to capture the love, the laughs, and the big moments as the family continued to grow. Thank you to Gil and Kelly Jo Bates for welcoming viewers into your family's home over the past 10 seasons. The statement continued and said, thank you to the fans who tuned in every Thursday night to be part of the journey. We're looking forward to continuing to uplift you with our programming in the future, is how the statement concluded. In September, UPtv had announced news of the renewing of the reality series, and then kaboom. Now, being the amazing family that they are, I wanted to read the statement that the Bates family shared in response. As the next year begins, our family will be experiencing a lot of new changes. One of the biggest changes for us is that the network will be moving toward producing more scripted family shows and will not be renewing a contract to film new Bringing Up Bates episodes. We realize God's timing is always perfect, and we are looking forward to what the future holds for our own family as well as the network. The last 10 seasons of filming with Bringing Up Bates have been an amazing journey for our family. We never expected or aspired to be on TV, but we are forever grateful to UP for all the friendships we have formed as a result. Filming and opening up our home has been both rewarding and challenging, but there are not enough words we could say to show appreciation for the amazing film crew and all of the staff who have invested so much time into making this show possible. They have become family and have impacted us forever. We are also grateful to all the encouragement we have received over the years from those who have watched the show and have reached out to message us or pray for us. They concluded the statement writing this: most of all, we are thankful to God for the experiences we've shared together as a family and for the lessons we've learned along the way. We feel very blessed to have these memories. We look forward to the next chapters of life unfolding before us with lots of new adventures. We promise to keep you updated on our lives in the days ahead and pray that God will richly bless each of you. Our greatest desire is that we would each strive to learn more about God and to grow in His grace. And is that just not so typical of...
Absolutely. That's how eloquent they are.
Let's put this in perspective. They just got fired.
That's exactly right. And that's just how graceful they are. That they take it that way, and they're giving thanks to God, and they're praising Him for what He's done, as well as they're thanking UPtv for the opportunities they've given them.
And I say it like we know them, and we basically just know of them. We've had discussions with them, but knowing them, that was sincere.
Oh, absolutely.
That wasn't just blowing smoke.
No.
That's
I don't think they have the ability, because they're so good-hearted people. I don't think they have the ability to blow smoke. I really don't, because they're such good, wholesome people. They're so genuine. That's really the word I wanted. It was genuine.
There you go.
Such genuine, down-to-earth, caring people. That's them.
Yeah, that's them right there.
That's them.
That looks like in the earlier days.
Yeah.
You think about it, 10 years, and some of their kids started as...
Can you imagine 19 kids? Whew.
No.
Man. I had 5, and I look like I've been pulled through a rat hole backwards. Oh, man.
Now, let's put some of this in perspective. They make the announcement. They've been plugging the new season. There's an Instagram post that a lady by the name of Katie Joy of Without a Crystal Ball points out that UPtv has been promoting Bringing Up Baits throughout the past few months, and she writes, UPtv has been relentlessly promoting the new season of Bringing Up Baits. In September, they called the series a ratings winner, and they were excited for the new season. So how do you go from having 10 years under the belt, ratings that were... I've heard that they were the #1 show on Up. I don't know that for a fact. I've been told that. I haven't read it. Well, of course, being told and reading, reading doesn't make it gospel.
Right.
Being on the internet might, but...
everything on the internet's gospel.
But they obviously brought in lots of ratings. If you read about them and the things that are out right now, because there's a lot of people that are upset about this, including us.
Absolutely.
You find that they have quite the large following. They have quite the large family, and they have quite the large following of their family because of who they are and how they live their lives. This quote says, Bringing Up Baits continues to outperform its prior seasons in the ratings because the Bates family are beloved by our viewers and fans who watch the series weekly and engage with the family on social media. We repeatedly hear from viewers how much they appreciate the Bates family, and they look forward to spending time with their favorite large family each week for an entertaining and uplifting safe haven on television. And that was from Hector Campos, the Vice President of Content Strategy and Programming at UPtv back in September.
Well, he'll be eating those words, huh?
Well, I mean, it's coming back right here.
Yeah, it's going to be biting him.
This person went back and found what he had said and pointed out. And, you know, it's really a cop-out in my estimation. And you know, I still have contacts at UPtv.
Right.
And they send me things every week. You know, I'm on their regular listings to not just an email list that goes to everybody, but they send me things about new shows that are starting, interview opportunities that there are, and things like that. I'm trying not to sound arrogant or cocky, and I'm not, but you know, there are a handful of people that if you was to say the Ed Boston podcast or Ed Boston Ministries or whatever, they would be familiar with us. And is it? Yeah, it won't reach this far, but if you can get it, I'll plug it in over here.
You're gonna die, huh?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not talking about people that I don't like and people that I've had a grudge against, because I've had a good working relationship with the people at UPtv for several years. So I'm not talking trash about somebody. I'm not talking trash, period. I want to say this in as kind and loving a manner as I can, that I really, really think that they have messed up in what they have done here. And I want to, as I get ready to...
Hold on. Have you got a cord over there?
A cord?
Extension cord?
No, I don't reach to the phone.
Will it fit?
Yeah.
Or reach?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Now, let's just see. Okay. I'll slide and slide and hide.
Yeah, well, somebody doesn't charge his laptop very well, and...
Well, it's been running out quick. My laptop and your watch
Yes.
have been very close to the same. But I was being, you know, I slid and was slow and
well, that didn't
tried
work,
to hide.
so we're back.
Because, well, I dress from here up.
He's dressed from there down, and it's just not matching.
Yeah, it does not match at all. So if you see me from the waist down, you would laugh.
Yeah.
If you see me from the waist up, you think,
You
well,
should have just said I would have come around there and done it.
So,
My husband.
let's talk for a second about what could have happened. We don't know that it happened. We have no inside information on what happened. But something had to have happened. Right?
Something could have.
You don't go from September, heavy promotion, you know, it's like...
Probably #1 show to nothing.
To fired, to canceled. Okay, I'm trying to keep this as upbeat as possible, but canceled. So let's look at something, let's see, September. I want to, let me give up that first article because it's got something in here. The Bates were introduced to the world by another family that had 19 kids. And where did that... So prior to getting their own TLC show, United Bates of America, in 2012, that's before we knew about them when they did United Bates of America. The Bates family was featured on the Duggar family's 19 Kids and Counting. During a season 5 episode in 2011, the two families who are both fundamental Baptist Christians, made plans for a visit to Missouri together. So, I would think that there would be people who, when they hear Bates, relate with the Duggars. That they know each other, there was contacts, and so September, in December, Josh Duggar, we've talked about him. We have a TikTok of Amy talking about Josh Duggar and what a piece of garbage. Yes, we have a TikTok of that. I just stole it from the Boston Prayer and Share Hour, clipped it out, and made a TikTok. Josh Duggar, who was convicted of downloading and possessing child pornography, he has recently requested a new trial. His attorneys filed a motion that their client be acquitted, and they, being the lawyers, sought to pin blame on an ex-employee of Duggar's and accused prosecutors of not providing exculpatory evidence on time. So, once again, Josh Duggar, part of the family of the Duggars, who were 19 kids and counting, right? Isn't that what the name of their show was? Was charged with child pornography, requested the new trial. So there you have that. Now, UPtv is known as an encouraging, uplifting, Christian-based, it's not Pure Flix where everything, but so they have this reputation, uplifting, wholesome, and those things. And so now they've got a problem. This is Ed speaking. Ed and Amy talked about this. This is all speculation. But it's, to me, the only thing that makes sense of how you go from top-rated show, highly rated show, announce a new season, promote, fire. I don't know about you, but, well, let me just say this. I know little to nothing about the Duggar family. You knew more about them than I did. But I know little to nothing about them. And most of what I know comes from this one person in their family. Thus, when I hear bringing up Bates, the only thing to me that associates them with the Duggars is they both got 19 kids. Am I off base here?
No. No.
Should people hold it against the Bates family because they had connections to the Duggar family years back?
No, absolutely not.
I mean, how many of us have had connections to somebody 10 years ago, 12 years ago that did something bad 10 or 12 years later,
right,
that has nothing to do with us?
Right. And I find it to be an insult that UPtv has, if that's the reason.
Yeah, that is an if. We want to keep...
that's a reason.
We want to keep saying that,
right,
because we don't know that it is.
But if that's part of a reason or a reason that they've done this, it's an insult. And not just to the Bates family, but to people that care about the Bates family. It literally is, because they have nothing to do with that. They've not been implicated in any way, shape, or form of anything. And it's an insult that they would even be
thought of in the same.
Right, absolutely. Have anything to do with it, period.
And I know we're off a little bit of how we normally go about things, but we kind of take this personal.
Right.
We feel like they have wronged friends of ours.
Right, absolutely.
And I know that all of the Bates interviews and things like that were before we started the prayer and share hour. So many of you may have no clue of what we're talking about. I mean, you can Google search bringing up Bates, and you'll find all kind of interesting things.
Yeah.
And we can't sit here and do justice to the show, because, I mean, we watched kids grow up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you look at their family picture now, and it's not just Gil and Kelly Jo and 19 kids, but I didn't read how many grandkids there are, but there's a bunch.
A bunch.
There is a bunch, because when you look at it, when they started 10 years ago, getting almost 11, some of their kids were senior in high school, and up to where in 10 years they've had plenty of time to get married, have kids, and
right,
and some of them multiple children. And so we'll keep following, and we'll be sharing.
Yep, absolutely.
Information about Bates. So for the rest of the share hour, which we are running down, I'll just lightly hit on three different topics that I had. We mentioned the other day that the law in Canada basically them saying that pastors preaching from the pulpit were against homosexuality, telling what the Bible says, or committing hate speech and yada yada. Well, YouTube has now censored a Bible-based sermon that was based off, remember 4,000 churches across North America, and the pastors were had committed to the teachings of what the Bible says and against what non-Bible believing parts say.
Right.
So that was where this sermon came from, was that Pastor John MacArthur was labeled by YouTube as having a sermon tagged hate speech, because it isn't pro LGBTQ.
Because
plus.
it isn't pro.
Pastor John MacArthur of Grace Community Church in Los Angeles, California, preached a sermon Sunday about biblical sexuality, and again, it was an effort by pastors across North America to protest a new Canadian law that took effect January the 8th after being pushed through Parliament with little debate.
Wow.
And
preach on drag queens, you'll be okay. You'll be perfect. You'll probably get a #1 rating.
we read the story about drag queens traipsing down the aisle at a church.
Absolutely.
And
it was probably the best sermon they'd ever heard. But you preach on the Bible and you get banned from YouTube.
Well, and here's the deal. Here's what probably got him in the most trouble. And you can see the headline right there. He said, God made us male and female.
Oh, my goodness.
How is that controversial? How is that hate speech?
How? Somebody please explain to me how that is controversial or hate speech.
In the beginning, God created, and he did the days, and then he created man. And then from man, he took a rib and made woman. He didn't make another male.
Nope.
He made a female.
And you know what? That's how the world was populated. It wasn't populated by Adam and Steve. It wasn't. Because you know what? It's impossible.
Well, you know, you used to think that statement, it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, was kind of a funny thing.
Yeah, people would laugh and chuckle about that.
But it's way past the point of being funny.
It's beyond sad. Because now people are getting banned from YouTube and they're getting charged with hate crimes, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Noah's Ark was filled with a female and a male from each species. Why? To repopulate. It wasn't filled with a male and a male or a female and a female.
Well, because they would have went extinct.
Absolutely. We wouldn't have any other animals on this entire earth if that was the case. We wouldn't have another human if that was the case. They picked one of each sex of each animal so that they could repopulate. Because it only makes sense. That's the way nature is, because it's meant to be.
Well,
it wasn't like I didn't have a horrible day at work, and now you got my blood stirring. You got me on my soapbox.
Well, you might as well just stay up
Oh, heavens.
If you were with us on Tuesday, you heard us tell the stupidest story in the history of
Oh, my goodness.
mankind.
We're giving our kids to the homeless.
Well, that's what the suggestion was. Well, there is a group of mothers in Michigan that are on the warpath because, let's just hear what it says. Michigan mothers expressed outrage Wednesday on Fox and Friends after the state's Democratic Party dismissed the role of parents in public education in a since-deleted Facebook post. That's one of the things that happens in life now.
They say it and then they delete it because that way nobody knows it was said. Wrong.
It's just like when we talk, we can't take it back.
Yeah.
We can apologize or we can correct or we can do whatever, but those words came out of our mouth. The words were there in a post. We think the Michigan Democratic Party, teachers unions, and Governor Gretchen Whitmer think they own our kids. Michigan mother of four, Tori Sachs, told Ainsley Earhart. Sachs said the message from the group was especially disturbing given their advocacy for school closures and Whitmer's decision to veto scholarships intended for parents to pay for at-home tutoring or in-person learning at another school. She went on to say that the Democratic Party and Whitmer have been out of touch with the American people, asserting that the latter has been controlled by teachers' unions her entire time in office. For the Michigan Democratic Party to think that the parents are not the clientele of the public school system, it's the other way around. We pay taxes. That's why they're public schools. They are publicly funded. And you're biting your lip. Why are you biting your lip?
Oh, because I'm just so over stupid people. Stupidity just has people, oh my heavens.
Has no boundaries?
It does not. It just doesn't. Stupidity overflows.
Now think about when we were in elementary school.
I don't know if I can think back that far.
Well, just pretend.
Okay. I'll try.
Can you imagine the schools telling our dads that they had no say in what happens in school?
Absolutely not. No. That would have never, ever, ever gone anywhere.
Think back even farther where they did the school calendar based off of farming seasons.
Yeah, well.
School didn't start until September so that the farmers could get the crops in. And same thing in the spring with plowing.
Absolutely. Well, and a lot of that had to do with the bus drivers, because the bus drivers were in the fields too.
And so we've gone from that to where parents don't have no say in
They
anything.
don't have any say. It's not their kids anyway. It's the homeless neighbor.
For those that weren't here Tuesday, you'll have to go back and watch Tuesday. We're not going to go there tonight.
Yeah, because I probably will have another stroke. Because that was as dumb as I could ever imagine.
It is to the point where if it's utterly ridiculous and makes no sense, that's what many people want to be doing.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Here's what we should do. We should, elect school board members from a community, and the school board members should represent the community. That's how our government works. But we don't have to listen to anybody in the community, even though they pay our salaries, they pay for all of these buildings, they elect a school board, but they get no say.
Back when we were in school, we elected school board officials that were our parents, that were community members, that were involved in the community, that had common sense. And if they did something stupid, guess what? They got booted off the school board. Nowadays, the school board members don't have the common sense God gave a goose.
That's an old phrase.
Well, I'm an old person. But it's so ridiculous that we've got people on school boards that are taking every bit of the authority out of the parents' hands and saying they don't have any say in the matter. They're just the parents. All they did was give birth to the kid and pay to support it.
And pay our salaries.
Yeah. Other than that, they don't have any say in what goes on. We do as the school board. They don't have any say.
I've got one word.
Stupid?
Well, it fits, but...
I can come up with a couple more, but they probably aren't appropriate.
Indoctrination.
Okay, that was one.
Indoctrination.
Duh. Lockstep.
If you're not in lockstep with the liberal teachers unions, then... And your community may not be that way. Because...
Well, it's coming to a community near you, though.
That's the fact.
I mean, it's just right around the corner. Hold on, it'll be there.
Because there are some smaller communities and hopefully some larger communities where the liberal influence isn't as strong. But I guarantee you, if you've got a strong teachers union somewhere, there's a lot of liberal influence that you and I probably aren't real fond of.